Thanks for joining us at 5 tonight with Mallory Svaste. I'm Kelly Swoop. We're another step closer to restoring regular commerce to the Port of Baltimore.
Officials in the Unified Command announced today they're set to hit a major milestone this week in the reopening process.
WMAR 2 News' Elizabeth Worthington got an up-close look at the progress today, and she joins us live now from Dundalk with a look at what she saw. Elizabeth?
Yeah, Kelly and Mallory, we saw that progress in action today, the progress that's allowing the Unified Command to make good on its promise to have a 35 feet deep limited access channel open by the end of April. In fact, they're ahead of schedule. They say today that it's going to be open later this week, weather permitting. So to give you some perspective, the channel where the dolly is sitting right now, that's the main federal channel. That's 50 feet deep. Anything less than that is going to be too shallow for a massive container ship like the dolly to pass through. So 35 feet, we're not all the way there yet, but it is some progress, and we are going to allow some more commercial activity to pass through the Port of Baltimore. This is what we saw the last time we went out to view the Key Bridge wreckage site. Compare it to today. There's a big piece of the bridge that's no longer there. Instead, it's here at Sparrows Point, getting cut up into smaller pieces to eventually be recycled.
We used to have a very large span, kind of like that one, going into the water, and now it's gone. And that's just incredible when you can physically see the progress.
Between rigging and lifting, it took 2.5 days to pull this out of the water. It was an important piece of the puzzle when it comes to gradually reopening the channel. Its removal last night around 11:30 p.m. led to this announcement.
And today, Unified Command began laying out buoys and lights to mark the 4th temporary channel with a controlling depth of 35 feet.
So right where the Coast Guard vessel is, that's going to be the limited access channel. And that piece you just saw at the Sparrows Point processing site was right there on the other side of the pillar. It was wrapped around the pillar. That was the last piece that was blocking the channel above the water line. So although it looks pretty clear right now, there's still plenty of wreckage underneath the water that they still need to clear. Governor Moore now saying that work should be complete by the end of the week.
The reason why this was an important milestone is that at around that 35-foot draft is really where you're starting to get some of the inventory that's coming on board that had been some of the hallmarks of the Port of Baltimore. That's when you're starting to get enough draft where you're able to get things like the aluminum and the container ships that are coming on board. So that's why this one is going to be such an important feature.
All right, so once they get that new channel open, it's actually only going to be open for a few days at first. They're going to let some of these ships that have been stuck on either side of the port pass through, and then they're going to shut down vessel traffic at that channel again for about 10 days. They're going to do that because they have to do all this work to remove the dolly, and that's going to take a little bit over a week, they project, and they want to make sure that they do this as safely as possible. They don't want ships to be passing around the dolly because the limited access channel is right next to it while they're doing all this work to remove the containers, remove the wreckage, and ultimately refloat the ship. Reporting live in Dundalk tonight, Elizabeth Worthington, WMAR 2 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Elizabeth.